Hello and welcome to the very first Surrey Heath Live eSurgery. Now, we're starting a little bit late and I do apologise for that because we were just having a few technical issues, which is a shame really, because we wanted David Mansfield, Councillor David Mansfield from Bisley, to take part in this. But unfortunately, we had a few problems with his Twitter account. But he's assured me that he will join us for the next one next month. And I'll see if I can iron out those problems for him in between. So this is the very first Surrey Heath Live eSurgery. This has never been attempted before, and it's very much going to be a suck it and see kind of scenario, because we really don't know how this is going to play out. Now, I'd just like to introduce the panel who we've got tonight. So we've got Councillor Dan Adams. Dan represents St Paul's Ward and is the Vice Chairman of External Partnership Select Committee. We're also joined by Councillor Edward Hawkins, who represents Parkside Ward and is the Chairman of the Planning Applications Committee. A very, very busy committee, as I'm sure everyone will agree. We've got Councillor David Allen. David is the Chairman of the... Remind me again, David.
Performance and Finance Scrutiny Committee.
Yeah. Performance and Finance Scrutiny Committee. Excellent. And we all serve on various committees and working groups at Surrey Heath Borough Council. Now, what I'm going to do to get this going, because we've got 16 people watching this live now, is really invite each councillor, and I'm going to start with Edward,
cheers.
To really just... Sorry, some background noise there. Somebody got a TV on in the background. David?
No.
Dan?
Nope.
Edward?
Nope.
No? Okay, well, never mind. I don't know where that noise is coming from. Never mind. So I'm going to invite each councillor to really just tell us what sort of emails they're getting from their constituents, say, over the last month, and what are the hot issues in their ward. So let's start with Edward.
The main issue for us is... the parking, the hospital parking, primarily on Parkside Estate and also on the Warren Rise Estate, which is Farm Road, the area around there. There's also been an issue which Josephine, my wife and fellow councillor, has been dealing with, in that there are some residents wanting to have a pedestrian crossing outside the Grove on the Portsmouth Road.
Right.
Now, an petition has started, and if anybody is on there would like to sign it, I believe they go to Surrey County Council and look up the go on the website and look up the e-petition for the crossing on Portsmouth Road. It'd be good to get that. The other issue which just come up is quite a disturbing one, and I'm just a little bit careful of how far I go down this one, in that there has been somebody going around saying that they're acting for a developer and that they will work with residents in obtaining planning permission, saying that they're a councillor and that they can ease the planning process. That
That's
I
the
have
first
to say,
I've heard of
no.
that.
Sorry?
Really?
That's the first I've heard of that.
Well,
wow.
I haven't told you about it. It's only just arisen.
Right, okay.
But I have to say quite emphatically, nobody influences the Planning Applications Committee. It is completely independent. It's politically independent. Yeah. And people do not have an inside track with the officers or the planners. And this is something I say, it's only just come up over the last 24 or so hours, and I am investigating it and working with that. But that is the sort of the hot potato. But I'm not going to say any more than that, because it may end up a little bit more
serious. Yeah.
Yeah, serious. Yes.
Yeah. Fair enough. Actually, can I just go back to the Grove School thing, Edward?
Please.
I don't think people realise actually how expensive, and don't get me wrong, I support the idea of a crossing there at the Grove, but I don't think people realise actually how much one of those things costs. Do you know how much they cost, Edward?
I believe it's something in the order of £100,000.
Right.
The one further along the Portsmouth Road was put in. This is one that the other side of the hill that drops down. That was put in as part of the Safe Routes to School programme from county and from Section 106 monies. That is monies developers have paid to help infrastructure. And that is in it. It's gaining popularity. But the Grove one, the school, there's normally a lollipop lady, in fact. But what they are supplied by the school, and I think they're having problems recruiting. And as cars accelerate up the hill, it is 30-mile-an-hour limit, but as they accelerate up the hill, it does make it dangerous for children crossing. The petition is as much to get the matter discussed by the county local area committee, and I don't believe they have the money at this point in time, but it will help get it onto the agenda. So I think we need a few more people. So if anybody is minded to go on there and ask their friends, colleagues or residents to sign on there, it would be much appreciated by the residents on Parkside Board, or Parkside Estate.
We have 18 people in watching this live now. Dan Adams is just having a look. Dan, if you do a search on Surrey County Council e-petitions and pull out that e-petitions link, please, and post it in the comments there, then people can look at that and decide whether they want to sign it or not.
That'd be helpful.
I think I have signed it. It's rare I sign a petition, but I did so with that one. Great. Well, thanks for that, Edward. It is astonishing, actually, how much those zebra crossings cost.
It's not a zebra crossing. It's a yeah. It's
whatever. They're a lot of money,
yeah.
And so you can understand why it's probably difficult to get county to agree to these things.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think a petition would help leverage some, let's say, influence on the county council to at least have that discussion.
Well, it'll enable Josephine to take it to the local area committee, of which she is a member.
Yes.
And get the matter discussed in a formal context.
Okay, cool.
Do you know when she started the petition?
Sorry, could you repeat that, Dan?
Do you know when she started the petition?
I'll tell you what, I'll pull that out now. Hang on
a few days ago.
Yeah, I'll pull it out.
I trust you're going to sign it, Dan.
So
yes,
petitions.
I found the link to it, but there's so many in there without knowing what the title of it is.
Yeah,
you know, it would be interesting to find out when they, at the top of the Frimley Road where they opened this temporary access about 5 years ago from the Portsmouth Road down onto the A321, then they closed it off.
Yeah.
And there's all this traffic lights and stuff that are up there that have just sat there. I wonder if it's possible to reclaim the use of those things to bring them down to something like that. All the kits in there.
There's traffic lights there?
Yeah.
Okay, I've put a link, as has Peter Bambridge. Thank you, Peter. Peter is a Deep Cut resident watching this live. The link is there. So for those people watching this live or the recording afterwards natively in Blab, click that link there and you can decide whether you wish to sign that petition or not. But it does seem like a sensible idea to me. Anyway, and I just also wanted to welcome Paul Spooner watching this live from Moscow, which proves...
He's having some trouble with the connection at Moscow Marriott.
Yeah, he is a councillor on Guildford Borough Council. He's also an executive member, and I forget what his portfolio is. I think it's something to do with planning. But anyway, so yeah, it just proves this truly international accessibility to this e-surgery. So if you're working for a company on secondment somewhere in the world, there's no reason why you can't take part in this. Planning and regeneration lead. There you go. Thanks for that, Paul. But welcome. Really, really good to see you here. Paul sent me a text earlier today that he said that he wanted to watch this live to see if it was something he could then roll out in his neck of the woods, which would be great. But welcome anyway. Now, let's go on to Dan Adams and talk about some of the things that you're getting emails about in your ward of St. Paul's, please, Dan.
Yeah, well, there's been a few issues with parking. That's always an ongoing thing. Drainage issues, which obviously is a county issue, following the autumn falling of leaves, which are blocking some drains, and also as usual, speeding on Church Hill and Crawley Hill.
Right, interesting. Okay, and what are the is it to do with like school pickup time, drop off time? What are the actual concerns?
Well, the actual parking, I mean, it's a couple of local businesses that are parking outside residents' houses and blocking their driveways, etc.
Right, okay. I mean, parking is a problem right across the borough without any shadow of a doubt. I mean, I heard a statistic some time ago that apparently in Camberley, we have more cars per household than anywhere else in the UK. I don't know whether that's true or not, but that's a statistic that I heard. Have any of you guys heard that?
It's close to the truth. It's 1.8, I believe.
Yeah,
Edward?
I think we're the second highest in car ownership. Hart, I think it is the highest, or it was. But
right.
yes, that 1.8 rings a bell.
It's enormously high, and parking is an issue here in Dettingham Park, where I live in Deepcut, and in the rest of Deepcut. I mean, there is a lack of parking provision across the borough, I would say. And I know in your ward, Edward, it's been an issue that's been bubbling away for ages, particularly with the staff at Frimley Park Hospital using the side roads and so on. Yeah,
It's not just Frimley Park, it's also Siemens, and it's not just the staff.
right. Interesting. Okay. Great. Okay. Well, thanks for that, Dan. Nice one. Now, there's some questions. If people who are watching this live want to ask questions, if you type /Q space and then your question, we'll be able to see that flag up as a question. I know that, and I don't know what is... it's EGSS Jez. I think I know who that is, actually. Jez, if you've got your question, feel free to type it in the comments there. We'll read it out and see if we can get it answered. David Allen, what are people emailing you about?
There's really two things. One, we've just formed a Frimley Business Association for the High Street Traders, and that's going really, really well. And in association with the council paid for an outside consulting firm to come in and take a look at what was right with Frimley, what was wrong with Frimley and the High Street, what we need to do. And they came up with two things that I think were really important. One was parking. We have the same issues because Frimley Park Hospital is in Frimley, obviously.
Yeah.
So we have that same issue, but a big issue is the speed limit on the Frimley High Street. It's 30 miles an hour, but people come on the hill down from the Frimley train station onto the Frimley High Street at between 40 and 50 miles an hour consistently. Lots of accidents. I presented a sort of petition to the local area council at the last meeting, which was a signature from every business owner in Frimley. So all the businesses united behind this. So that's really a big deal, is getting the speed limit lowered. A lot of people have been hit. I've been hit. I've been run over.
I can't imagine why. Was it someone you'd cheesed off, Dave?
No, I hadn't either.
The phrase "sleeping policeman" came to mind.
Really? The worst part is he backed up and parked on my foot. That was the worst.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But really, it was kind of funny now, but not at the time. So parking's really a big issue. Speeding's a big issue. But one of the things, as I think I told you guys about before, that we've gotten a lot of emails today, is the poppies on the lampposts in the Camberley Town Center. Some bright spark put the poppies up and then painted the posts afterwards.
No.
If you go down there, yeah, they did.
Show me that picture again.
Paint. Yeah.
Show me that again.
Yeah, see it? This is just one of the emails I received today on this. It boggles the mind that anybody could be that stupid to put the poppies up and then paint the lampposts, or not at least take them down.
Okay.
And actually, a couple of them are from veterans who feel like that's a great deal of disrespect to all of our veterans that, literally, do such a schlocky job on that. But those are the three things that
let's just talk about the speed limit in the in Frimley High Street, because I heard that in Bagshot, I think I read it in last week's Camberley News, some guy was petitioning about, was it to stop traffic going through the village?
Well, they were going to try to stop it for a short period of time, but they are actually sort of our role models. They have succeeded just recently in reducing their speed limit from 30 to 20.
Right.
And they have, logistically, they have one of the exact same problems that we have, which is the Bagshot High Street is a rat run to the M3. And guess what? The Frimley High Street is a rat run to the M3, but not only a rat run to the M3, but it's a rat run to the Blackwater Valley dual carriageway. So, they have a rat run to one motorway. We have a rat run to two motorways. And that's the big problem.
Okay, because what was interesting about that is that it would seem to be universally accepted that if you stopped traffic going through Bagshot High Street, it would kill all the businesses.
Exactly.
So you obviously don't want to do that. You just want to reduce it. I just wonder, though, because they reduced the speed limit on the Red Road and on the Maltway there, and no one's paid the blind bit of notice to it.
Well, but they don't have shops lining the street on both sides. So.
That's true. Okay, well, that's
people trying to pull off and use a cash point.
Okay, well, thanks for that. Now we've got some questions.
So can I just come in very quickly on David's point? I mean, as I understand it, the Bagshot shops are saying that they have noticed an improvement in trade, as I believe, and it's important to keep the village centres. And Frimley has the most fantastic nighttime economy. It's brilliant, but it's in the day that we need to help all the shopkeepers survive.
Right, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. Now we've got a question in the comments there from Jez. Now I know Jez. In fact, Jez pulled me up at school today because his and I daughter go to the same school, and he wanted to talk to me about the Notcuts Waitrose development there and the planning application for the 4 new shops or something that was turned down apparently at the planning applications committee. Now, I don't know how much you can and cannot talk about this, but I'm sure Edward will pull us up if there's a problem. But let me read out the question. So, can someone give a reason why the planning committee seemed to prefer to leave the unit next to the new Waitrose store in Bagshot vacant? It seems the 3 businesses that wish to take up leases there provide the same service that Notcuts would have. They don't compete directly with village shops, and the Bagshot Village Society and the residents of the adjacent Earlswood Park are supportive. Is it that, as the recent newspaper article suggests, you are just angry with Notcuts and are choosing to take your revenge, while at the same time completely ignoring the blatant breach of planning that Charles Church have been guilty of in the Sangs land to the north of the housing development on the same site? It seems planning are not interested in holding up their own terms there. Okay, so clearly Jez feels strongly about that. There is there anything you can talk about there, Edward?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Certainly, I'm not responsible for what the press say or how they interpret matters. It's a little bit glib, but we don't have responsibility. We have to sit in judgment on applications in accordance with planning law and the law of the land. The original consent for that development was that Notcuts with a garden centre, with ancillary, the whole range, including plants, were going back in there. Notcuts, for various reasons, have decided they don't want to do that, and so there is a vacant shop unit. The developers have come forward and said, we have got 4 units, one of which is a cafe that want to go in there. But they didn't, as required by law, put forward a retail impact assessment. They were told that, They didn't put that forward, and the officers were left with no other option but to recommend refusal, which is what the committee did, by bar 2 people who voted against the recommendation, one of which was a Bagshot councillor. Valerie, yes, she made her comments known, and she was reported, and I know she spoke with the press. She's been quite vocal. In the meantime, the developers have put in an appeal on that matter, but primarily we didn't get all the right documentation to show that as Jez says there, that the units were not going to impact on the vitality of primarily Bagshot and of Camberley. And that is information that we have to, by law, we are very, very restricted under the planning terms and under planning laws what we can or can't do. Hopefully that answers the question. On the matter of the enforcement, the breach of planning, I don't know what that is. My email is on the website, the council website. If you have an issue, or you can comment, if you wish to email me, I will pick that up and deal with that and get back to you as quickly as I can.
Dan, can you just put Edward's email, council email comments there, please? Yeah. I've got to say, Edward, I'm sure you can sort of clarify what I'm about to say here, but planning law is incredibly complex. And the thing is that what may seem like obvious to everybody else, often councillors' hands are tied when it comes to planning matters, and have to adhere to the law. It is a quasi-judicial process.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what might seem like blatantly obvious is not always the case. And I found myself, sorry, Dave, 1 second. I found myself very frustrated at planning applications committee meetings. The only reason why I turn up, and I try to turn up to as many planning applications committees as possible, is just so that I can understand it and get my head around it, because I'm not actually I'm not on that.
I'm a humble chartered surveyor, but I'm also, having to have an understanding of planning law, and I do a lot of reading, and I'm going to, I think I'm giving up a Saturday. Well, I don't think I know. I'm giving up a Saturday to go for a whole day's training in the Midlands, so that I can keep up to speed on what is government policy.
Yeah, it is very complex. Sorry, Dave, did you just want to add something there?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm on planning as well with Edward, and what Edward says is not just the truth, but I mean, you have to think about the wider implications of these things, because this entire planning application at the beginning was not cuts. And we'll have some Waitrose along with us. And then suddenly it switched to Waitrose and not cuts, and then now it's Waitrose and not cuts. And the thing you have to be really careful of is you don't know, once you approve a retail unit being in place, there's a wide latitude for people to open all kinds of businesses. And so we actually are doing an incredible job at protecting the residents of Bagshot from some other business in the future that might dive in, and then they would say, we didn't agree for this to happen. Well, the narrow banding that exists between the types of retail operations that are available out there gives a wide scope for the people who.
So what you're saying then is, if one or even all three of the businesses that were proposed there decided for whatever reason, possibly it could be that for commercial viability reasons, to close down, you got to be careful what you wish for, because once that planning approval has been granted on a particular class, you could end up with anything in there. Not anything, but anything within that band. Is that what
banding? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And, that's the difficulty. And, a lot of residents don't appreciate it or understand that, once it's in, it's in. And you can't, take that back retrospectively.
Right. Okay. Great.
Yeah, as chairman, I'm quite frustrated at times, because I can't actually always say what I think, because I have to be
impartial.
But I still have a vote. But
Yeah.
I have to tread that very interesting line, as David well knows, that I have to keep everybody on the straight and narrow at times.
No, I think you do a very good job of that, actually.
You're very kind.
You do a very good job of that in sometimes very difficult circumstances. And, councillors often must feel the pressure, particularly when you've got a public gallery full of people booing and jeering and all that sort of thing. It must be quite distracting at times. But anyway, that's just my personal view. Now, I'll, if you don't mind, just talk about a couple of the things that people have been emailing me about. And I kind of stitched myself up a little bit, really, this month, because I did a podcast with two rough sleepers, two homeless people who are rough sleeping in my ward, in quite a sad situation, really. And I was concerned that they weren't getting everything that they were entitled to. So I took that up with the housing team at Surrey Heath Borough Council after I did the podcast. And I can confirm, as I've posted on my Facebook page, that I am entirely satisfied that they've done everything and more. That's our housing department, that is, to try and do their best for these people. And, things aren't always what they first appear to be. And there's always, let's say, another side to the story. But I can confirm that our housing team are working very hard to try and resolve the situation there, because I've had a lot of emails from concerned residents as a result of that podcast that I did with them. And justifiably so. And it's really nice to see the community spirit that's come out of that situation as well. Some local businesses have offered them food and drink and hot drinks and so on. People have offered warm clothing and warm bedding and all that sort of stuff. So it's nice to see the community come together at times like that. So that's one.
Are they still sleep?
They are at the moment, yes, as far as I'm aware. They are at the moment. But I think as the weather gets colder, the pressure is mounting now to try and get them sorted out. But like I said, I can confirm our housing team are doing their best for them.
Fantastic.
So the other thing that I'm getting emails about, because obviously is the deep cut development or redevelopment, I should say. Getting a lot of emails about that because of the consultation, the second stage consultation that the developer Skanska put out. So I'm getting a lot of communication about that, and it's the usual sort of stuff, highways, traffic, that type of stuff that people are concerned about. And interestingly as well, I'm getting a lot of communication, even though it's not my ward, about the Frimley Green traffic lights that are going to go in as a result.
I was just going to say that's a big issue right now.
It is. There's a petition that residents have put together and I think what they're asking is the justification of the traffic lights. Right. And what the concern is that it may even make it worse. Now, the thing is, and perhaps again, Edward, I'll call on your expertise as the chairman of the planning committee. But as far as I'm concerned, that's a done deal. What are your thoughts on it?
First and foremost, it's a county issue.
Yes.
I have been in conversations with Oliver Lewis, the borough councillor there, Chris Pitt. And I have suggested that Oliver takes this up with the county local area committee. I know he has, the county officers have given him very fulsome responses to the question he's asked. They've been great. And a lot of it comes back to modelling, and they're trying to forecast the traffic. The traffic isn't going to happen overnight. It is going to be iterative, but it's one that we have minimal input. It is a county issue, and the Chris Pitt is vice chairman, I believe, of the local area committee, and as the county councillor for that neck of the woods, he really is the best placed person. I'm not trying to dodge the issue because I have no input in it, and I'm trying to follow the work, the enormous amount of work that Oliver has done on that, and it takes a lot of reading.
Yeah,
I can absolutely tell you, if you go any night this week, and you come down Deep Cut Bridge Road and turn on the road to come into Frimley Green, I guarantee you won't get to the center of Frimley Green in less than 25 minutes.
Sorry, what was that again, Dave? Say that again, because I do that run every day, and if it's not right, I'm gonna pull you up on it. So go on.
Right now at rush hour, so between 5 and sort of 6:30. If you go from Deep Cut Bridge Road and turn and go towards Frimley Green, you'll be in there 20-25 minutes. That road, I was just up there tonight. Traffic backs.
But isn't that because there are traffic lights actually in Frimley Green? Some roadwork traffic lights in Frimley Green right now.
There was not this afternoon,
right,
but I mean it's happening almost every afternoon there now. That's not with the addition of deep cut traffic. Right. That's just the traffic right now. Mm-hmm. The traffic right now is already unacceptable. Right. So you throw some traffic lights in there, and you throw in 1,200 homes in deep cut. We're gonna open a new high street up by Lakeside because people pulling in there for dinner.
Don't give Bob Potter any ideas.
I mean, David, you try and get out of the Chobham Road. Yeah. Or come down Portsmouth Road, going at that time of the day, or when the hospital visiting time, the whole area is just gridlocked.
Yeah.
I mean, traffic is a problem across the borough, actually across the southeast. Actually, I mean, the thing is that the government are setting these targets that we on new development, and that in my view, the infrastructure is woefully lacking. But at a time when we're talking about more houses for the area, County Council are talking about reducing the bus services. So a classic example of where the left hand isn't talking to the right hand. And I don't know, maybe that might be a case for unitary councils. I don't know. But anyway,
unitary council doesn't do anything to change, how people vote and who they vote for. That doesn't change the absolute dynamic, the real problem. And if you take a look at deep cut, this is a real simple problem. As we talked about before, we have one of the highest ratios of cars per household in the country. Okay, maybe we're not number one, but we're the top 5. The number is 1.8. There's going to be 1,200 homes in deep cut. Yet Surrey County Council said the total number of traffic movements is going to be, I think it was 943, but it was just over 900, which means that there's going to be 450 movements out and 450 movements back. So there's a total of 900. And so there's going to be 1,200 homes times 1.8. Well, that's more than 450. It's quite, so we're knowingly going and approving these developments with a clear idea that David, either we're going to try to make water run uphill or gravity go sideways.
David, you're on the planning committee. It's exactly. At the end of the day, the county council made a recommendation, or let's say they didn't object to the recommendation for the highways infrastructure, which made it very difficult for councillors to turn it down. Have I understood that right, Edward?
I am not going to get drawn on this because the next phase of the infrastructure and the planning is going to come in very shortly, as you yourself said. And I think that is one that I'd best just sit on the fence on.
Fair enough. I understand.
I'm not being chicky before anybody else comes because I really do have to.
I get that. And that's fine.
Like judgment of Solomon. All I can say is that residents around here say, we want more homes so our family don't have to live up in Middlesbrough or somewhere. We want them nearby. That's great until they live nearby and then you have to go and do their decorating and gardening. But that's a different issue.
Hey, you decide to have kids, Edward. That was your problem.
Yeah, we won't go there.
They all move back.
Okay, fair enough. So that they were the 3 issues that are in my ward, basically. Unless we've got any questions from people who are watching, we'll just quickly move along and then we'll wrap this up. Borough news. So is there anything going on in your wards that you want to share with people? Start with you, Dan.
Nothing as far as...
It's a bit of a sleepy ward, St. Paul's, isn't it? Although the church is very active.
No, it's nothing to do with that. Everyone's just very happy.
Yeah, the church is very active there at St Paul's. I think actually there's an event this weekend with Connect Counselling Service at St Paul's Church having a comedy night there. I think that's this Saturday, but if you go on the Residents Network blog, there's details of that. Edward, anything going on in your neck of the woods?
Unfortunately, Parkside is very much of a dormitory ward. We have, we've got a school on the edge of it. We've got a church on the edge of it. We've got a scout hut. I would dearly love to have a community centre so that we can generate community. And unfortunately, we haven't, because of the sheer nature of the ward. Whether that changes as and when the Boundary Commission opine, I don't know. Who did that?
Right. Okay. Fair enough. David?
Well, we have something great coming up that's just been finally totally approved. On the 21st of November, on Saturday, we are having a Christmas tree lighting that the mayor's going to light the Christmas tree.
What, so set it alight or light the bulb on it?
Just going to set it alight. Exactly. Bring your cans of petrol.
Fair enough.
No, we're thanks to Councillor Dennis Fuller, who's paid for a whole bunch of Christmas lights. And the Frimley Business Association, because we've all chipped in and done this. We're actually going to have a whole afternoon thing. We're going to have mulled wine, and we're going to have all kinds of nibbles and stuff. And Joanne Potter, the mayor, is going to actually officially do the Christmas tree lighting. So it's a first for Frimley. So it's a great thing, and we're all looking forward to it.
Fantastic.
What date's that again, Dave?
The 21st of November, Saturday.
Right. I'll see if my diary's free. I'll be there.
Yeah, good.
Peter Bambridge has just made a comment in there. I know you were going to read that out, Dan. Peter Bambridge, who is the newly elected chairman of the Deep Cut Business Association, which was formally inaugurated, let's say, at a meeting last Friday at Pine Ridge Golf Club. And there's two objectives of Deep Cut Business Association. One is to stimulate economic growth in the village of Deep Cut now and going forward, particularly with the new development, because we're going to get some new retail in Deep Cut. But also to act as a conduit between local businesses and the Deep Cut Neighbourhood Forum and the developers of the new development to try and make sure that the businesses are taken into consideration when ideas come forward for the new development. So, Peter, thanks for all the hard work that you've done on the Business Association. I kind of wear a couple of hats in the community because I have my own business. I'm a councillor and I'm a resident of Deep Cut. So, on behalf of all the businesses, thanks for all your hard work there because you got that off the ground and it's really fantastic. So thanks very much. Event-wise, in my ward, although not strictly in my ward, but at Pine Ridge Golf Club on Sunday is the Halloween Spook Fest. Now, that is a charity event for the Marie Curie Cancer Care, who are one of the supported charities of Pine Ridge Golf Club. Fantastic event. I think it's the fourth year they've been running it now. Always get a good turnout and, really good, safe environment. If you want to take your kids for a nice Halloween celebration, that's the place to do it. Details on the Residents Network. So that's Borough News. And really, that is it. I don't think we have any other questions from members of the community. Did any of you guys wanted to add anything?
No, and I got to go.
Okay, Dave. Take care.
God bless you guys.
Yeah.
God bless
Right.
everybody listening and watching. Have
Cheers.
fun.
Cheers. Now, I just wanted to say that this is the very first one of these that we've ever done. I think it's gone quite well, considering there was a bit of a cock-up at the start of it. And I think that the more we do this on a regular basis, because the idea is to do one once a month. First of all, we'll get more councillors taking part once they can see the recording of this and see that it's actually quite a friendly environment and no one's going to be mean. But also, that members of the community, more members of the community that sort of find out about it and take part and ask questions will just make it far more dynamic. So just want to thank you both for taking part in this.
Before we disappear, Paul,
Yes,
you might actually do this offline. How do I get my Twitter feed? I've got Dan, David, and yourself Twitter feed up there, but I'm not mentioned. I feel very left out.
I can see
that's
that.
only the people. Yeah, he's seeing it in the Twitter feed to the left, Paul, because he hasn't done the Tell a Little Bird.
Yeah, so you see where the button is, Tell a Little Bird?
Yeah.
If you click on that, that just means that
and then send
you're
it.
sending tweets out.
Well, it's got, I see, it's got your names on it. Oh.
Yes, because you haven't done it yet.
Oh, right, okay.
What that's doing is telling all your Twitter followers that you're live on Blab.
Oh, right.
Basically.
There we go.
Yeah.
P. Bambridge has just done the same.
Yeah, but this is a great platform for this type of thing.
So I've just seen my spelling.
So a great platform for this type of thing, and hopefully more and more people will take part going forward. So thank you very much, Edward, Dan, and Dave, for taking part. Thank you, David Mansfield, for trying to take part. We'll get that sorted out for next month. So, thank you.
Did you answer? Sorry, Paul. One other thing. Did you answer the question? There was one earlier on before we came on. What is an eSurgery?
I did answer that, but I'll answer it again very quickly, just while we're on the record. So, an eSurgery. Many politicians, predominantly sort of MPs, tend to have surgeries, and it's a place where they can meet their constituents face to face and talk about issues. An eSurgery is similar to that, except it's broadcast live on the internet, as we're doing now, and gives an opportunity for residents to engage with their elected representatives, which we are. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Josephine and I, we've held surgeries over the years in different places, and we just don't get anybody. And we've tried to combine those with the PCSO, the police, and the county meetings, which are normally the first Wednesday of every other month. But we get 3 people. So this, we think, is fantastic. So great, Paul. We love this because it gives us a chance to expose ourselves in the nicest possible way to and be visible.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Definitely. I mean, you consider that we've had 62 people viewing this live this evening, and which, if you think about it, is probably more people than you've ever had turn up to all your face-to-face surgeries collectively.
I noticed we turned 51 of them off, but
yeah, absolutely. Well, Arsenal are playing Bayern Munich tonight, so at home. I've no idea. So to get 62 people in when that's the case is astonishing
for the first one.
Yeah. So, but anyway, thank you guys for taking part.
Guys.
Really do appreciate it.
No problem.